I do not chase money, I command money, and everywhere I go, money looks for me. That is the law. You have been running in circles after what should be running after you. Today, I will show you how to turn the chase around. In this message, I will teach you how to command money with the authority of spirit so that it follows you instead of fleeing from you. You will learn why chasing and worrying repel it, and how speaking with dominion draws it. You will see how fear shuts the door, and how the right decree flings it wide. And before we are done, you will have words of power to speak that make money follow you everywhere, swiftly, surely, and under grace. I know many of you have prayed for money and seen no answer. You have repeated affirmations until your lips were dry, and still the purse stayed empty. You have chased opportunity until you are weary, and still the door would not open. You wonder, why do others speak and see results while I speak and see nothing? The answer is simple. You have been chasing instead of commanding. The universe does not answer to pursuit, it answers to authority. And when you stop running and begin speaking as one who already owns the kingdom, then money stops fleeing and begins to follow. Today I will show you how to take that position of dominion so that money cannot resist you. In the next 2 hours, I will open to you the law that makes money follow you. I will show you the difference between begging and commanding, between fear and faith, between doubt and certainty. I will tell you stories of those who turned last coins into overflowing purses, who blessed small sums and saw great sums appear, who stopped chasing and watched money chase them. I will give you the exact words to speak, the exact decrees that set the law in motion, and I will expose the traps that have kept you poor, the careless words that have turned money aside. Stay with me, for I will show you not only how to call money, but how to make it follow you everywhere, until you can say with certainty, where I go, money goes. Where I stand, money stands. Where I move, money follows. Here is something most people completely miss, and it is the reason they never see the money they long for. They chase it. They run after it as beggars running after crumbs in the street, and in doing so, they drive it away. For whatever you chase flees, whatever you beg resists, whatever you fear hides. That is why so many spend their days toiling and their nights worrying. And still the purse stays empty, still the door stays shut, still the opportunity passes by. They think they are pursuing money, but in truth, they are commanding it to run. Their very fear is a decree, their very struggle is a command, their very begging is a word that money obeys, and the word is, flee from me. But hear me. Spirit does not answer pursuit. Spirit answers command. The Bible says in Isaiah, concerning the works of my hands, command ye me. It does not say, beg me. It does not say, run after me. It does not say, cry out in fear, and maybe I will pity you. It says, command. Command with the authority of one who knows his right. Command with the certainty of one who knows the law. Command with the dominion of one who knows he is a child of God. When you stop running, when you stop trembling, when you stop chasing, and instead stand still and speak the decree, the whole universe begins to rearrange itself to obey you. Let me give you the proof. A woman once came to me in great distress, facing a lawsuit of $3,000. She had no way to pay. She begged, she wept, she feared, and of course, the more she begged, the farther the supply seemed to flee. I told her, God is your supply, and there is a supply for every demand. Stop begging, start commanding. Together we spoke the word. I give thanks that she receives $3,000 at the right time, in the right way. Notice, we did not plead, we did not whine, we did not ask if perhaps, maybe, possibly. We commanded with thanksgiving, knowing it was already done. The 15th of the month came, the day of the deadline, and still she saw nothing. Fear rose again. But I said, act rich, order the expensive luncheon, walk in faith. That night, her cousin appeared, asked after her affairs, and by morning he placed in her hand the exact $3,000. Not a penny more, not a penny less. The law had obeyed the word. She had commanded, and money followed. So I ask you, are you chasing, or are you commanding? Have you been running after money as though it were some master holding a whip over you? Have you been treating it as though it decides whether you live or die, whether you eat or starve, whether you rise or fall? Or have you stood in your dominion and said, money is my obedient servant? It follows me everywhere. It seeks me out. It comes to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. One path makes you a beggar, the other path makes you a ruler. One path leaves you empty-handed, the other fills your purse before the week is done. Beloved, money is not your master. It was never meant to be chased, feared, or worshipped. It was meant to be commanded, directed, and blessed. It is spirit and substance, and spirit always obeys the one who speaks with authority. Stop running. Stop trembling. Stand still and command. Speak the decree. Money follows me. Money seeks me out. Money flows to me from every direction. I do not run after it, it runs after me. Say it until the vibration of chasing is replaced with the vibration of dominion. Say it until your subconscious stops imagining you running and begins to see money running after you. Say it until your very tone changes, for the tone of fear drives money away, but the tone of command makes it follow. And when you do this, you will see for yourself that money was never avoiding you, it was only obeying the command of your own fear. Change the command, and you change the result. Stop chasing, and you will see money begin to chase you. What I am about to reveal may sound so simple that the reasoning mind laughs at it, and yet it is the most powerful truth in all the world. Your word is your wand. With it, you draw what you desire out of the invisible into the visible. With it, you command substance to take form. You call supply into manifestation. You summon money to follow you as surely as a shepherd summons his sheep. Every word you speak is a decree, and the universe obeys it without argument. It does not weigh your sentence to see if you were serious or joking. It does not pause to ask if you meant it or not. It only records and obeys. That is why I tell you, speak not one careless word, for your tongue is the scepter of your world, and with it you rule or you ruin. I once knew a woman with only $2 left. To her eyes, the purse was nearly empty. But I told her, bless it, for your word can multiply it. Speak the decree, for your word is your wand. She did so. She declared, this is the magic purse of spirit. It can never be depleted. As money goes out, money comes in, under grace, in perfect ways. It is always full, crammed, jammed, bulging with supply. She said it with joy. She said it with power. She saw in her imagination bills and checks flowing in. And soon after, she received a gift of $6,000. $2, by the wand of her word, became 6,000. Do you see? The purse did not multiply by chance. It obeyed the word. Now, think for a moment of your own speech. How often have you said, I can't afford it? How often have you sighed, money slips through my fingers? How often have you joked, I'll end up broke? Those words are wands too, but poisoned ones. They paint pictures of lack in the subconscious, and the subconscious, faithful servant that it is, carries them out. Then you meet those very words in your experience, and you call it fate. But it was never fate, it was your wand at work. You had only to change the word to change the picture, and the picture would have changed the result. Beloved, the subconscious has no humor. It takes every word at face value. Say, I'm sick to death of this place, and it may begin to write sickness into your body. Say, I can't stand this bill, and the bill grows heavier. Say, I always lose money, and money hears the command and obeys by leaving. But say, I am a magnet for divine supply, and supply begins to flow. Say, I bless my purse, and it bulges with abundance, and you will soon find it so. Say, money follows me everywhere, swiftly and freely, and you will begin to see money turning corners, crossing streets, finding you in unexpected ways. So I ask you now, how are you waving your wand? Do you wave it with fear, creating more of what you dread? Do you wave it with complaint, painting pictures of lack? Or do you wave it with command, creating pictures of abundance? The choice is yours, but the law never changes. Your word is your wand. Here, then, is the practical use. Speak only what you wish to see. Refuse to voice lack. Refuse to rehearse poverty. Refuse to joke about failure. Instead, put into words the life you desire. Choose vivid phrases, colorful pictures, strong decrees. Say, I see money pouring into my purse from all directions. I see checks arriving, bills paid, accounts overflowing. I give thanks that large sums come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. Do not whisper it as if testing. Say it with authority. Say it with joy. Say it as one giving orders, not as one hoping for crumbs. Beloved, never forget, money is but your servant, and your word is the command it obeys. If you want it to follow you everywhere, give it no other order. Say aloud each day, money is my obedient servant. It follows me everywhere. It hastens to me now, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it until you feel it in your bones. Say it until every old word of lack is erased. Say it until your life itself becomes the proof. For your word is your wand, and when you wave it with faith, the treasure appears. Here is something most people never understand, and it is the very reason they say affirmations over and over and still see nothing change. Words without faith are empty breath. Repetition without conviction is like knocking on a door with no hand behind the knock. The lips move, the syllables sound, but the heart is not in it, and so the subconscious remains unmoved. You cannot fool the law with hollow phrases. You cannot whisper weakly into the universe and expect a trumpet blast of supply in return. The law does not answer the noise of words, it answers the vibration of faith within them. Faith is the spark that sets the decree aflame. Faith is the life in the word. Without faith, a decree is a shell. With faith, a decree is a living seed, bursting with power, destined to bear fruit. I have seen students come to me with weariness in their eyes, saying, "Florence, I have said the affirmations you gave me hundreds of times, but still nothing happens." And I answer, "How did you say them? Did you say them with conviction, or did you murmur them with doubt? Did you declare them as law, or did you whisper them as hope? Did you speak them as one who knows, or as one who questions?" And when they are honest, they admit their words were laced with fear, that they repeated while still imagining failure, that they said, "I am rich," while picturing poverty. That is not faith. That is doubt dressed in borrowed clothes. And the subconscious, faithful servant that it is, obeyed the stronger vibration, the picture of lack. Faith is not struggle. Faith is not effort. Faith is not straining to believe. Faith is calm certainty, the quiet knowing that the decree is already fulfilled. When you speak with faith, your tone carries authority. Your voice rings with life. The subconscious hears it and knows it is law. Faith speaks as if the thing were already done, for in truth, it is already done in the invisible. When you decree, large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways, and you feel within that it is already so, then the decree has wings, and money hastens to obey. I recall a student who affirmed faithfully but always added, "I hope this works." And so, of course, nothing worked. Hope is not faith. Faith does not hope, faith knows. Hope says, "Maybe someday." Faith says, "It is done now." Hope waits with wringing hands. Faith rests with thanksgiving. Hope doubts the channel. Faith knows the channel will appear. And the law answers not to hope, but to faith. Think of it this way. Words without faith are like a bow without an arrow. You may pull the string, but nothing flies. But words with faith are arrows sharp and swift, striking the target unerringly. Words without faith are like empty envelopes dropped into the mail. Words with faith are letters written, sealed, and sent with authority, and the universe delivers them without fail. So I ask you now, how are you speaking your words? Do you repeat them with sighs, as if going through motions? Do you whisper them with doubt still gnawing at your heart? Or do you speak them as a commander giving orders to obedient servants? If you want money to follow you everywhere, you must speak as if money is already standing at your side, waiting to obey. You must say, "Money follows me now. I see it, I feel it, I know it. My word has gone forth, and it cannot return void." Let us seal this truth with a decree. I speak my word with faith. My word is alive, my decree is certain, my supply is sure. Money hears my voice and obeys. It follows me everywhere, swiftly and freely, under grace, in perfect ways. Speak it until you feel the vibration of certainty rise within you. Speak it until the doubt falls silent and the faith sings alone. For faith is the breath of life in the word, and when the word is alive, the universe must obey. Here is a truth that few realize until it is explained to them plainly. Many of you are not living by the words you speak today, but by the words you spoke years ago. You are walking in the shadow of old decrees. You are surrounded by the harvest of phrases uttered long ago, perhaps forgotten in your mind, but not forgotten in your subconscious. For the subconscious is like a phonograph, always recording, never missing a word, never forgetting a tone. It records every careless phrase, every idle joke, every muttered complaint, and then it plays them back into your affairs as faithfully as a disc spins back the song carved upon it. It does not ask if you meant them. It does not question if you are serious or jesting. It simply obeys. That is why so many live in conditions they cannot trace to their current thoughts. They are living in the groove of old words, old fears, old jokes. I once knew a woman who often said, laughing with her friends, "I'll end up living in a trunk." She thought it was clever, thought it was harmless, thought it was only a jest. But the subconscious did not laugh. It recorded. And when the circumstances of her life unfolded, she literally found herself living in a trunk. The groove had been cut, and the record played. I knew another who said repeatedly, "I'm sick to death of this house." In time, her body reflected sickness, for the subconscious heard only "sick to death." These are not coincidences, beloved. These are proofs of the law. Every word is a seed, and the subconscious is a fertile soil that never refuses the planting. That is why it is not enough to speak new words of abundance. You must also smash the old records. You must declare the false grooves erased, the wrong songs silenced, the destructive decrees demolished. For if you do not, you may continue to see old harvests springing up even as you plant new seeds. The subconscious does not know time. It does not say, "This word was spoken 10 years ago, so it no longer matters." It says, "This word is alive, this decree is in effect, this groove is still playing, and it will play until you stop it. But thank God there is a way to stop it. You can speak a stronger word, a living decree that breaks the old record and writes a new one. I give you this formula. I now smash and demolish every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within, records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Say it with force, say it with authority, say it until you feel the old grooves breaking. Every false phrase, every word of lack, every joke of failure will be shattered, and in their place new grooves will be cut, grooves of abundance, grooves of joy, grooves of supply. So I ask you, what old words are still ruling your life? Can you hear them if you listen? Do you catch yourself repeating phrases like, "I can't afford it," "I never get ahead," "something always goes wrong"? Those are grooves, beloved, and they are still playing unless you smash them. Do not delay another day. Do not excuse them as habit. Erase them now. Replace them with decrees of abundance. Where you once said, "I can't afford it," now say, "God is my unfailing supply, and I can afford all that belongs to me by divine right." Where you once said, "Something always goes wrong," now say, "Everything now works together for my good." Where you once said, "I never get ahead," now say, "I move forward swiftly, under grace, into greater abundance." Beloved, the power is always in your mouth. If old words bound you, new words can free you. If old grooves imprisoned you, new grooves can set you dancing. Do not fear the past, for the past can be demolished with one decree. Say it now with me. Every false record is smashed, every groove of lack is erased. I write today new records of supply, of joy, of health, of freedom. My subconscious sings only the song of abundance, and money follows me everywhere. Say it until you feel the new record begin to play, the new song begin to rise. For once the old records are broken, the music of heaven fills your life, and the melody of abundance will be the tune you walk by. Now that we have seen how chasing repels, how the word is the wand, how faith is the spark, and how old grooves must be shattered, we are ready to step into the most practical part of this teaching, the living decrees themselves. For it is not enough to know the law in theory. It is not enough to nod at its beauty or admire its simplicity. You must use it. You must open your mouth and speak the word that sets the law in motion. A decree unspoken is like a seed left in the bag. It has all the power of a forest within it, but it will never bear fruit until it is sown. Your word is the seed, your faith is the soil, your expectancy is the water, your joy is the sunlight, and the harvest is certain when you plant. So here I place into your hand the living decrees, the very words you may speak that make money follow you everywhere. They are not to be whispered with doubt, not to be muttered as if testing them, but to be spoken with authority, with rhythm, with joy. They are words alive with power, and when you speak them, the universe listens. Say, "Money is my obedient servant. It follows me everywhere. It hastens to me now, under grace, in perfect ways." Do you hear the authority in those words? Do you feel the reversal of the chase? No longer are you the beggar running after coins. Now money is the servant running after you. Repeat it until the image in your subconscious shifts, until you see in your imagination streams of money moving toward you, not away from you. Another decree. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it with joy, say it with thanksgiving, say it until you feel the vibration of abundance rise in your very body. Do not picture trickles, do not imagine crumbs, do not settle for pennies. Picture large sums, overflowing sums, crammed and jammed purses, bulging accounts, checks arriving, gifts multiplying. For the subconscious obeys the picture, and your words paint the picture. Here's another. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. Every channel is open, every door is free, every delay is dissolved, and my good hastens to me now. With this decree, you are not pleading, you are commanding. You are announcing to the universe, I have a claim, and it must be honored. I have a right, and it cannot be withheld. My good belongs to me, and it comes. The law cannot resist such a decree, for the law is perfect justice, and when you call for what is yours by right, nothing can stand in the way. Beloved, I must warn you here. Never use decrees to take what belongs to another. Never use them for selfish grasping or harmful desire. For the law is exact, and whatever you decree against another returns to you multiplied. Always say, under grace, in perfect ways. Grace opens the right channels, protects you from harm, and ensures that what comes is truly yours. The perfect way is never at the expense of another, never through loss, never through injustice. Trust that what is yours cannot be taken, and what belongs to another cannot be held by you. Speak your decrees with love, and you will see how freely the universe responds. Now I ask you, will you speak these words, or will you leave them on the page as pretty sentences? Will you give them breath, or will you let them die in silence? Do not delay, begin tonight. Stand before your mirror, lift your head, look into your own eyes, and say with authority, money is my obedient servant, it follows me everywhere. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. I am an irresistible magnet for supply, and before Sunday, I see my proof. Say it with rhythm, say it with joy, say it as if the heavens themselves are listening because they are. And then, go about your day expecting to see the evidence. For the decree has gone forth, and it cannot return void. Beloved, never forget, the living decree is the key. Knowledge is good, understanding is better, but only the spoken word moves the law. Use it, and you will see. Speak it, and money will follow you as faithfully as a shadow follows the body. Declare it, and you will soon walk in a world where lack is forgotten and abundance is your constant companion. Here is something I must tell you plainly, for it is the stumbling stone of multitudes. Fear is faith turned upside down. Fear is not a harmless feeling, not a passing mood to be excused or indulged. Fear is creative power misused. Fear is inverted faith, faith in evil instead of good, faith in failure instead of success, faith in loss instead of gain. When you fear, you are not idle, you are decreeing. You are painting pictures in the subconscious, and the subconscious, ever faithful, will reproduce those pictures with absolute accuracy. That is why Job declared, "The thing I greatly feared has come upon me." He was not cursed by chance. His fear was faith gone crooked, and the crooked faith brought forth its crooked harvest. I once knew a man who feared a rare disease. It was so rare that physicians scarcely encountered it, and the odds of his meeting it in his lifetime were next to nothing. Yet he fed that fear. He read about it, he spoke of it, he imagined its symptoms, he dreaded its shadow. Day by day he rehearsed the picture in his mind. He was certain in his dread, and certainty is the essence of faith. And in time, he manifested the very disease he had feared. He died not because chance struck him down, but because his own inverted faith created the condition. This is the exactness of the law. It does not ask if the picture is good or evil, joyful or dreadful. It only knows to reproduce with precision the image most deeply impressed. Beloved, this is why I tell you that fear is your greatest enemy. Fear is the counterfeit of faith. Fear is the thief of supply. Fear is the shadow that bars the door. When you fear that money will not come, you are decreeing lack. When you fear that bills will not be paid, you are decreeing debt. When you fear that failure is near, you are decreeing defeat. And the law, obedient to your decree, answers without fail. Do you see now why so many chase money in vain? Their lips speak affirmations, but their hearts vibrate fear, and the heart's vibration cancels the lips' decree. But the good news is this: fear can be replaced. For fear is only misplaced faith, and what is misplaced can be corrected. Withdraw your attention from the fear, and it withers. Pour your attention into faith, and it grows. You cannot fight fear directly, for wrestling with it only strengthens it. The way to banish fear is to replace it with a stronger vibration. When the whisper comes, "What if the money does not appear?" answer it at once with a decree. "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? My supply is certain. My good is here now, under grace, in perfect ways." When the shadow says, "What if I fail again?" answer with, "I cannot fail, for God never fails. I am led in triumph always." When the worry asks, "What if the bill cannot be paid?" reply with laughter, "This bill is paid in full, under grace, in perfect ways." I tell you, laughter is a sword against fear. When you laugh at it, you rob it of its power. Fear cannot live in the presence of joy. So when fear comes knocking, answer with a smile, with a laugh, with a decree. Do not let it take root, for once it takes root, it grows swiftly. Pluck it up while it is still a seed, and replace it with the seed of faith. So I ask you, what have you been fearing? Have you feared poverty and found your purse empty? Have you feared rejection and met it again and again? Have you feared illness and seen symptoms appear? Do not condemn yourself for it, but see clearly what has happened. Your fear was faith inverted, and it brought forth what it pictured. Now, turn it right side up. Take the same power and aim it at abundance, at health, at joy. Say with me, "I refuse to fear. I have faith only in good. My good cannot be withheld. My supply cannot be delayed. I laugh at fear, for it is nothing. I live in faith, and faith draws abundance to me now." Speak it until you feel it. Speak it until the shadow fades. Speak it until your very bones vibrate with certainty. For when faith has replaced fear, nothing can stop money from following you. Fear is the inverted magnet that repels. Faith is the true magnet that draws. Cast out fear, and the magnet will work as it was meant to, pulling supply from every direction until your life overflows. Here is something that may seem foolish to the reasoning mind, but it is the very doorway to miracles. You must act as if your good is already in hand. You cannot say one thing with your lips and then live the opposite with your steps. To affirm abundance but walk in poverty is to cancel your decree. To declare wealth while behaving as though you are bound by lack is to plant weeds in the very field where you sowed good seed. Faith must not only be spoken, it must be lived. Every act, every gesture, every choice must echo the word you have declared. When you act rich before the riches appear, you prove your faith, and your faith compels the law to fulfill itself. I once knew a woman who faced a dreadful lawsuit of $3,000. She had no visible means to pay it, and the deadline pressed in upon her like a storm. Fear gripped her heart, and she was tempted to hide, to shrink, to hoard every penny as if poverty were master. But I told her, "Do not act poor. Do not show lack in your behavior. Order the expensive luncheon. Prove your faith by your actions." To the reasoning mind, this sounded reckless. Should she not save every coin? Should she not retreat into caution? No. For such behavior is inverted faith. It is acting poverty, and to act poverty is to decree it. She obeyed me, though her heart trembled. She walked into the luncheon and ordered as if her account were overflowing. That very night her cousin appeared, asking after her affairs, and by morning he placed into her hand the exact $3,000. Do you see the law? The supply did not flow until she acted as if it was already hers. Her action sealed her decree. This is the law you must learn. Action is faith made flesh. Words spoken without action remain in the air, but words lived out in behavior engrave themselves deep into the subconscious. When you live as though the supply is certain, you leave no room for doubt. Your outer life tells your inner life, "This is done," and your inner life responds by arranging circumstances to prove it. But when you speak words of faith and then act as though they are false, your subconscious hears the contradiction, and it obeys the stronger vibration, the vibration of your action. Think of the farmer. He does not wait to see the harvest before he buys his tools. He acts as if the harvest is certain, and in truth it island. He prepares the barn before the grain has ripened, for he knows the law of sowing and reaping will not fail. So must you act in the law of spirit. If you have declared that money follows you, then walk as if money is already at your side. If you have decreed that bills are paid, then bless those bills with confidence and place them aside as though the payment were already in motion. If you have commanded that large sums come quickly, then prepare a place to receive them. Do not act the beggar after speaking as a king. Act the king, and your kingdom will appear. Now I ask you, how are you acting today? Are you shrinking from opportunities as though lack were master? Are you refusing to prepare for what you have commanded, hiding behind excuses of someday? Or are you living as though your decree is already fulfilled, walking with the confidence of one who knows his supply is sure? Beloved, the law reads not only your words, but your footsteps. It listens to your tone, and it watches your acts. Let both agree, and you will see demonstration without delay. So let us decree together, and let our actions confirm it. I act now as if my purse is full. I move as one already supplied. I walk in confidence. I live in poise. I carry myself in abundance. My faith is proved in my steps, and money follows me everywhere. Speak it, then live it. Do something today that proves your faith. Prepare the space, buy the token, set the table for your supply. And you will find that as surely as the farmer who digs the furrows before the rain, the harvest will come, and it will come swiftly, for your actions have compelled it. Here is a principle that few ever practice, though it is one of the clearest signs of living faith. When you truly believe, you prepare. Preparation is the visible proof of expectancy. It is the outward act that declares to heaven and earth, I know my supply is already here. Without preparation, words remain in the air, and the subconscious wonders if you are serious. But when you prepare a place for the good you have commanded, you show that you are certain, and the law rushes to fill the space you have opened. You cannot fool the law by saying one thing and preparing for another. If you declare wealth but prepare only for lack, you are confessing doubt. If you decree abundance but leave no room for it to enter, you are contradicting your own word. But if you prepare boldly, if you act as though the supply has already arrived, then you have proved your decree and the universe must respond. I recall a woman who needed an apartment in New York at a time when everyone said such a thing was impossible. The city was tight, the market scarce, and her friends urged her to give up, to store her furniture, to resign herself to a hotel room, but she refused. She declared, "Spirit has the perfect place for me, and it is already mine." Soon after, she felt the desire to buy blankets for her new home. At once, the reasoning mind objected. "Do not buy them, you have no apartment yet." But she answered with faith, "I will dig my ditches. I will prepare." She bought the blankets, acting as if the apartment were already hers. Shortly thereafter, an apartment appeared as if by miracle, and though more than 200 applicants desired it, it was given to her. Why? Because her preparation had proved her decree. She had made room, and the law rushed to fill it. This is the lesson. If you want money to follow you everywhere, you must prepare for it. Do not decree supply, and then leave your purse in disorder. Clean your wallet, bless it, make space in it, as if new bills are already on their way. Do not decree abundance, and then ignore the place where it will be stored. Open the account, ready the ledger, clear the corner of your room, make ready the barn for the harvest. Your preparation is your proof. When you make space, the universe cannot leave it empty. Spirit abhors a vacuum, and the moment you prepare the vessel, the oil begins to pour. Think of the prophet Elisha and the widow. Her oil was almost gone, but when she obeyed the command to borrow vessels, not a few, and set them ready, the oil flowed until every vessel was full. The oil stopped only when there was no more room to receive it. Had she gathered twice as many, the oil would have filled them all. Do you see the law? The flow always matches the preparation. If you prepare little, little comes. If you prepare much, much flows. So I ask you, what space have you made for your good? Have you decreed large sums of money, yet left no vessel to receive them? Have you declared opportunity, yet failed to ready yourself for the open door? Have you spoken of abundance, yet still arranged your life as if lack is your portion? Beloved, the law will not pour new wine into old bottles. You must prepare new bottles, and then the wine will come. Let us decree together. I prepare now for the abundance I have commanded. I open every channel. I clear every space. I ready every vessel. I act as one already supplied. I dig my ditches, and the floods of wealth shall fill them. Before Sunday, I see my proof, for my preparation has compelled my demonstration. Speak it and then act it. Do not let this day end without making some practical preparation, even a small one. Buy the token, set the place, open the account, clear the drawer. Do something that proves your faith. For preparation is proof, and proof brings demonstration. Now we come to the crowning proof of faith, the sign that no man can counterfeit, and no demon of doubt can counterfeit either: joyful expectancy. For you may speak the word and still tremble, you may prepare the vessel and still worry, you may act as if and still be heavy with care. But when true faith has taken root, joy blossoms of its own accord. Joy is the fragrance of faith. Joy is the music of certainty. Joy is the atmosphere that tells heaven and earth, it is done. When you can rejoice before the demonstration appears, you have already secured it. When you can sing while the purse is still light, you have already filled it. When you can laugh at lack while appearances still scowl, you have already overturned them. Joy is the proof of faith, and joyful expectancy is irresistible to the law. Think of a child on Christmas Eve. He does not lie awake, fretting, whispering, "What if there are no gifts in the morning? What if my parents forget me? What if I am left out?" No, he goes to bed radiant, restless with excitement, his heart leaping with delight. He knows with certainty that the tree will be surrounded with treasures. He has no fear, no doubt, no care. His expectancy is joyful, and his joy proves his faith. That is how you must wait upon your demonstration. Do not brood, do not pace, do not sigh. Rejoice, laugh, give thanks, and expect with joy, for that is the vibration that compels the law to act swiftly. I once knew a man whose life had been chained by fear. Every day he worried, every night he fretted. His fears were so many that his life became a barren field, nothing grew but thorns. One day he saw a simple sign that read, "Why worry? It will probably never happen." Something broke within him. He laughed, he let go, he felt joy rise where worry had been. From that moment, his fears began to vanish, and his life shifted. What worry had bound, joy released. What fear had frozen, expectancy melted. His life, once a desert, became a garden, all because he replaced fear with laughter, heaviness with joy. Beloved, I must tell you this. If you want money to follow you everywhere, you cannot greet it with gloom. Money flees from frowns, it hastens to smiles. It does not answer the sigh of the beggar, but the laughter of the king. If you speak decrees with heavy hearts, your words are weighed down. But if you speak them with joy, they rise like arrows of light and strike the mark. Joy is the final magnet. Joy is the open hand that receives. Joy is the fragrance that tells the world, the feast is ready. So I ask you, how are you waiting today? With long faces, counting hours in dread, watching the calendar with gloom? Or with a smile, clapping your hands in delight, saying, "I can hardly wait to see how my supply will appear"? One path delays, the other hastens. One path closes the door, the other flings it wide. Choose joy, beloved, and you choose speed. Let us decree together. I rejoice, for my supply is sure. I laugh, for money follows me everywhere. I sing, for the demonstration is already mine. Before Sunday, I see the proof, and I rejoice in advance. Speak it not with sighs, but with song. Speak it not with heaviness, but with lightness. Let your very tone be cheerful, for cheer carries power. Smile as you speak it, laugh as you affirm it, dance if you must, for joy is the final act of faith, and faith crowned with joy cannot be denied. Here is a truth that will dissolve your fears if you grasp it. In spirit, there is no lateness. There is no such thing as too late to God, no such thing as missed the moment, no such thing as the opportunity has passed. These phrases belong to human reasoning, bound by clocks and calendars, but spirit knows no such bondage. Spirit is eternal now, and when the word is spoken, the demonstration appears in perfect timing, sometimes at the first hour, sometimes at the 11th, but always on time. The fear of lateness is one of the greatest enemies of faith, for when the mind looks at the clock and trembles, it begins to cancel its decree. It says, "There isn't enough time left," and the subconscious obeys, shutting the door. But when you lift your eyes from the clock and declare, "God is never too late," the channel is freed and the supply flows. I recall a man who proved this law in dramatic fashion. He needed $50,000 for his business, and the deadline was fixed. He had tried every visible channel. The bank had refused him, investors had turned him down, and friends could not help. By Friday evening, he had lost hope, for the bank would close at noon the next day, and his train would not bring him there until after 10. To his reasoning mind, the matter was finished. But I told him, God does not need time, and God is never too late. With him, all things are possible. He clung to that, though weakly. When he arrived at the bank on Saturday morning, he was met with surprise. The loan was granted with ease, and the money was in his hands before the noon hour struck. Think of it 15 minutes before the deadline, and the supply was delivered. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late, but exactly when needed. This is how the law works. It does not fail. It does not miss. It arrives at the appointed time, even if to your eyes it seems the very last moment. Beloved, I must tell you this so you never forget. Lateness is an illusion. Delay is a shadow. The supply is never lost, never withheld, never forgotten. It may seem to your senses that the hour is gone, that the chance is wasted, that the time has slipped by. But spirit is not bound by your calendar. Spirit is not hindered by the ticking of your clock. Spirit is eternal, and what is yours by divine right cannot miss you. It will arrive, and it will arrive in perfect time. If the hour seems late, rejoice, for the demonstration will be all the more glorious when it appears. If the day seems gone, give thanks, for spirit delights to prove that it rules over time itself. So I ask you, have you been trembling at the clock? Have you said, "It is too late for me. The week is almost over. The month has passed. My chance is gone"? Beloved, that is a lie. Nothing is too late with God. Nothing is lost. Nothing is missed. Your decree still stands, and the law still obeys. The supply is already prepared, and it will appear at the perfect hour. Hold to your faith, and you will see. Let us decree together. God is never too late. My supply comes at the appointed hour, swiftly and surely, under grace, in perfect ways. I do not tremble at the clock, for time is my servant, not my master. Before Sunday I see my proof, for the law cannot fail. Say it until you feel the weight of fear lift from your heart. Say it until the ticking of the clock loses its power. Say it until you know with certainty that your supply is not late, but right on schedule. For the law is never tardy, and spirit always keeps its appointment. Now you must learn the way heaven keeps its time, for spirit does not carry a watch upon the wrist or a calendar upon the wall. Spirit speaks through intuition, that quiet inner voice, that sudden flash of direction, that deep inward knowing that comes without reasoning. Intuition is God's clock within you. It is the chime of heaven ringing softly in the heart, saying, "Now is the hour, this is the way, take this step." When you obey that whisper, you step into the rhythm of divine timing. When you ignore it, you stumble in the dark, forever either too soon or too late, forever missing the door that would have opened had you listened. Reason argues, doubts, delays, but intuition knows, and when you trust it, you are always on time. I once knew a woman who had only $8 left in the world. To her eyes, lack was screaming. To her friends, poverty was certain. She could have hoarded those few bills. She could have shrunk in fear. She could have begged for pity. But instead, she listened for the still small voice within. And a hunch came an urge, a pull, a quiet direction that made no sense to the reasoning mind. It told her to step forward in faith, to release, to act boldly. She obeyed. That obedience opened the door, and soon thousands of dollars came to her through channels she never could have foreseen. If she had ignored the hunch, if she had waited for reason to approve, she would have missed the miracle. But because she obeyed the clock of heaven, she stepped into perfect timing, and her supply flowed. This is what I want you to see. The universe is always speaking. The divine plan is always unfolding, but it does not shout. It does not argue. It whispers. It nudges. It flashes. Intuition is not panic, not fear, not agitation. Intuition comes with peace, with quiet certainty, with a sense of rightness. Fear says, "Hurry, or you will lose." Intuition says, "Step now, and the way will open." Fear says, "You cannot." Intuition says, "This is the way." You must learn to tell the difference. And the difference is simple. One voice rattles you, the other steadies you. One voice confuses, the other clarifies. One voice depresses, the other lifts. When you follow the lifting voice, you follow the clock of spirit. and you arrive at the door exactly when it swings open. Beloved, have you not felt those nudges before? The thought to make a call, the urge to walk a certain street, the sudden idea to speak to a stranger, the quiet push to take a step that seemed small? And when you obeyed, did you not find that it led to opportunity, to blessing, to provision? That is no accident. That is the clock of heaven. And how many times have you ignored such nudges, brushed them aside, listened instead to fear or reason, only to discover later that you had missed the very channel you were asking for? That too is no accident. Disobedience to intuition always costs demonstration, but obedience always brings supply. So I ask you now, will you begin to honor this inner clock? Will you stop worshiping the hands of the watch and start listening to the whisper in the heart? Will you stop bowing to appearances and start obeying the divine direction that comes from within? If you do, you will never again be too late or too early. You will always be on time, for the Spirit within you keeps perfect time. Let us decree together. I am divinely sensitive to the voice of intuition. I obey instantly the guidance of Spirit. I do not argue, I do not delay, I do not doubt. I hear the whisper, and I move. And as I move, doors open, channels clear, supply flows. Before Sunday, I follow my hunches, and they lead me straight to my abundance. Say it until you feel the peace of certainty settle upon you. Say it until fear has no more hold. Say it until you can trust that every step you take is in rhythm with the music of heaven. For intuition is God's clock, and if you follow it, you will never miss your appointment with prosperity. Here is something that will astonish you if you have never practiced it. Vague words bring vague results, but definite words bring definite results. The universe does not answer to someday. Someday is a fog with no boundary, a mist with no door, a field with no harvest. Someday never comes, for it is always floating just beyond reach. That is why so many keep waiting and never receiving. They say, someday I'll be prosperous, someday money will come, someday my life will change. But the subconscious, faithful recorder that it is, takes the word literally. It says, yes, someday, and it keeps your good forever postponed. The law fulfills exactly what you decree, and if you decree vagueness, you reap vagueness. But if you fix a definite point, if you say, before Sunday, my supply appears, you have set a magnet, you have planted a stake, you have given the universe a container to fill. This is why I give you the Sunday proof. It is not because Sunday has magic in itself, but because a fixed time galvanizes faith. When you declare, by Sunday, I see the evidence, you close the door to wandering. You refuse delay. You draw the invisible into a frame, and the frame pulls the picture into visibility. I have seen this law work again and again. A woman once came to me with a need, and I told her, fix the date, declare it. She did, and though appearances fought her, the supply appeared on the exact day. Another time, a student refused to fix the time. She said, it will come when it comes. Months passed, nothing appeared. Only when she drew the line and said, by the 15th, this matter is settled, did the law move. On the very morning of the 15th, the demonstration arrived. Why? Because definiteness is faith, and faith compels the law. Beloved, I tell you this. Spirit delights in definiteness, because definiteness proves you trust the law. To say someday is to confess doubt. To say now, by this time, is to confess certainty. When Elijah stood before the people, he did not say, someday fire will fall. He said, this day you will know the Lord is God, and the fire fell. When Jesus said to the nobleman, thy son liveth, he did not mean someday, he meant now, and the child was healed in that very hour. Spirit acts in the eternal now, and when you fix your decree to a definite point, you align yourself with the eternal present where all supply already island. So I ask you, are your decrees sharp or vague? Have you been saying, money will come in time, or have you been saying, money comes before Sunday? Have you been declaring, someday I'll be free, or have you been saying, I am free now and the proof appears this week? The difference is everything. Vagueness delays. Definiteness draws. Fix your decree, and the universe will hasten to fulfill it. Let us speak together. I set the date, and the law fulfills it. Before Sunday, my supply appears. Before Sunday, my purse is full. Before Sunday, I hold the proof in my hand. My decree is certain, and my word is law. Say it with conviction, say it with joy, say it until the very air around you vibrates with expectation. For once the date is fixed in faith, the demonstration must meet it. The universe will move heaven and earth, men and women, circumstances and channels, to fulfill the decree. Beloved, remember this. Spirit is never late, but it also delights to prove it is on time. When you fix your decree, you call the invisible into the visible, and the visible must obey. Do not drift in someday. Step into this day, and you will see the miracle. Now let me speak to you about one of the most misunderstood aspects of the law, the place where so many falter and lose their demonstration what seems like delay. For you may decree with authority, you may fix your date with certainty, you may act as if and prepare your vessels. And yet the outer supply may not appear exactly as you pictured it, exactly in the form you expected, exactly on the channel you had imagined. In that moment, the temptation is strong to despair, to cry, "The law has failed, God has forgotten me, my word has returned void." But I tell you, the law never fails, God never forgets, and the word never returns void. What you call a delay is often not a denial, but a redirection. It is the greater good arranging itself, the perfect channel preparing itself, the higher outcome taking shape. If you resist, if you cling, if you demand that it come in only one way, through only one door, by only one hand, you may shut yourself out of the very blessing that is even now approaching. That is why I say to you, practice non-resistance. I once knew a woman who was consumed with longing for a certain man. She prayed, she affirmed, she decreed, she clung with all her might, saying, "He is mine, he is my husband, he is my destiny." But he did not return. She wept. She thought her affirmations had failed. She thought God had denied her. I told her, release him, do not resist. Say, this, or something better. Let divine selection choose for you. She resisted, she argued, she said, but he is the one. Yet finally she obeyed. She released. She stopped clinging, she stopped resisting, she stopped demanding. And soon after, another man entered her life, one far more suited to her, one who loved her deeply, faithfully, and truly. In time, she rejoiced, for she saw clearly that the first man would have brought sorrow, but the second brought joy. What she had called delay was in truth divine protection. What she thought was a closed door was in fact the opening of the right door. Beloved, you must learn this lesson if you would walk in freedom. Resistance is bondage. Non-resistance is power. When you resist appearances, you give them strength. When you fight the shadow, you make it solid. When you demand that your good must come in only one way, you choke the channel. But when you release, when you say this or something better, you open all channels. You free the law to move in ways beyond your reasoning. You allow the greater good to appear, often far beyond what you asked or thought. Jesus said, "Resist not evil." He did not mean to lie down in weakness. He meant, do not fight appearances, do not cling to shadows, do not give energy to what is false. Stand still, speak the decree, and let Spirit work its perfect work in perfect time. So I ask you, where have you been resisting? Have you clung to one channel saying, it must come through this person, this job, this door? Have you looked at delay and cursed it, saying, my good has not come, I am forgotten? Or will you release and say, I do not resist. My good comes swiftly, in perfect ways, through perfect channels, and if one door closes, another opens wider. One path brings strain and sorrow. The other brings freedom and demonstration. Let us decree together, I resist nothing, I cling to nothing, I fear no delay. Every seeming setback is a setup for greater good. Every closed door is the opening of a larger one. I let go, and Spirit reveals the perfect channel. Before Sunday, I see my proof, and it comes easily, freely, joyfully, under grace. Speak it until you feel the tension drain from your body. Speak it until your heart is calm. Speak it until you can bless even what looks like delay, knowing it is only the perfect way being prepared. For when you cease resisting, the law moves swiftly, the channel opens, and abundance flows. Now that you have seen how the law of timing works, that Spirit is never late, that intuition is the divine clock, that setting a date pulls supply into form, and that even apparent delay is perfection in disguise, let us go deeper still. For there are inner enemies that, if left unchallenged, will block every channel, dam every stream, and keep money from following you no matter how many decrees you speak. And the first and greatest of these enemies is fear. Fear is the giant that stands in the road. Fear is the robber that breaks into your house. Fear is the voice that says, it will not work, you will fail, you will lose. And I tell you plainly, fear is not harmless. Fear is not a passing mood. Fear is inverted faith, faith misused, faith aimed at the wrong target. Faith is creative, and so is fear. Faith says, only good can come, and good appears. Fear says, evil is on the way, and evil appears. Faith draws supply, fear drives it away. That is why fear is the first enemy you must conquer. For as long as it lives in your heart, your decrees are mixed, your words are weakened, and your demonstration is delayed. I once knew a man who lived in constant dread. He worried over his health, his work, his future, until worry became his very breath. Every day he expected calamity, and every day calamity seemed to find him. His fears shaped his path as surely as his feet walked it. One day he saw a sign in a shop window that read, "Why worry? It will probably never happen." That simple sentence struck him like a hammer upon stone. He laughed, and in that laughter, something broke. He began to see that fear had no real power except the power he had been lending it. From that day forward, he resolved to stop feeding his fears. He turned his mind instead to faith, and slowly, the calamities ceased, the shadows lifted, and his life changed. The change was not in fortune alone, but in his own heart, for once fear was cast out, the law could move freely. Beloved, you must understand, fear is like a shadow cast upon a wall. It seems large, it seems powerful, it seems unbreakable. But when you turn to the light, the shadow vanishes, for it has no substance. Fear is nothing but faith misdirected. If you fear poverty, you are exercising faith in poverty, and so poverty answers. If you fear sickness, you are exercising faith in sickness, and sickness appears. If you fear failure, you are exercising faith in failure, and failure comes. Withdraw your faith from fear, and fear dies at once. Replace it with faith in God, faith in good, faith in supply, and you will see abundance rush in where once there was lack. So I ask you, what are you fearing today? Are you fearing that the money will not come by Sunday? Are you fearing that your bills will remain unpaid, that your purse will remain empty, that your demonstration will not appear? If you are, then you are already shaping the very thing you dread. Cast it out now. Do not reason with it, do not wrestle with it, do not feed it with attention, replace it. When fear whispers, answer with decree. When dread rises, laugh and declare the opposite. Say, there is nothing to fear, for God is my supply, and his supply is endless. Money follows me everywhere. I live in abundance now. Let us decree together. I cast out fear, for fear is a lie. I place my faith only in good, and good alone appears. I laugh at fear, and it flees. I know my supply is certain, my money is sure, my demonstration is at hand. Fear has no place in me, for perfect love casts out fear. Say it until you feel the tremors leave your body. Say it until the shadows lift. Say it until laughter rises unforced from your heart. For when fear is gone, the path is cleared, the wall is broken, and money flows freely to follow you, as it was always meant to do. Now we must turn to another enemy of supply, not as loud as fear, but often more stubborn, more subtle, more deeply rooted in the hidden places of the heart: resentment. Resentment is the silent lock upon the door of abundance. It is the unseen chain that holds back the purse. It is the poison in the current that should flow freely. Many of you may not even realize how resentment has crept in, for it wears many disguises: envy of another's success, bitterness over an old wrong, jealousy of a friend's fortune, anger at life for seeming unfair. But however it shows itself, the effect is the same. Resentment shuts the door, for you cannot bless what you envy, you cannot attract what you resent, you cannot receive while secretly cursing the one who already has. I once knew a woman who envied her friend bitterly because that friend had received a gift she herself desired. She could not rejoice in it, she could not bless it. She muttered within herself, "Why should she have it and not I?" And as long as she carried that thought, her own hands remained empty. I told her to speak these words: "What God has done for others, he now does for me, and more." At first she resisted. Her pride wanted to cling to the grievance. But at last she obeyed, and as she spoke, the bitterness drained away. Soon after, she received not only the very gift she had envied, but also something greater besides. What changed? Not her fortune first, but her heart. When she shifted from resentment to blessing, the channel opened, and the supply rushed in. Beloved, this is the law. What you bless, blesses you. What you resent, flees from you. If you envy another's wealth, you repel your own. If you resent another's joy, you darken your own. If you curse another's gift, you close your hand against your own. But when you bless the good you see around you, when you say, "That good proves the law is working, and the same law works for me," you place yourself in harmony with it, and harmony always brings increase. That is why Jesus said, "Bless them that curse you," not merely as a moral command, but as a spiritual law. Blessing dissolves the chains, blessing frees the current, blessing turns the key in the locked door. So I ask you, whom have you been resenting? Is there someone whose name, when spoken, makes your heart grow heavy? Is there a friend, a rival, a family member whose success stings you, whose prosperity makes you bitter? Is there someone from the past whose wrong you still rehearse, whose shadow you still carry? If so, then know this: they are not blocking your supply. Your resentment island, release them, and you release yourself. Bless them, and you bless yourself. Forgive them, and you fling wide the doors of your own abundance. Let us speak the decree together. What God has done for others, He now does for me, and more. I bless every gift, I bless every fortune, I bless every success, for it proves that abundance is everywhere. I hold no resentment, no envy, no bitterness. My heart is clean, my channel is open, my purse is filled, my supply flows. Say it until you feel the chains loosen. Say it until you can see another prosper and rejoice instead of grieve. Say it until you can bless without effort, knowing that their good in no way diminishes yours, but proves the same law that is working in your favor. Beloved, never forget, resentment shuts the door, but blessing swings it wide. Envy binds, but rejoicing frees. Bitterness poisons, but forgiveness heals. If you would have money follow you everywhere, remove this enemy from your heart. Replace every grudge with blessing, every jealousy with gratitude, every resentment with rejoicing. Do this, and you will see how swiftly the current flows, how quickly the supply comes, how freely the doors open. For the universe has no limits, and when your heart is clear, it pours its riches without measure into your life. Now, beloved, let us go still deeper, for resentment not only shuts the door but grows into something even heavier. When it is not uprooted, it grows into unforgiveness. And unforgiveness is a chain, a weight, a clog in the pipes of your abundance. You may speak all the decrees of prosperity, you may command with power, you may even prepare and expect with joy. But if you harbor unforgiveness, if you nurse an old injury, if you carry in your heart the memory of a wrong as a weapon to wound again and again, you have placed your own hand upon the valve of your supply and turned it shut. For the law is exact. As long as you bind another in your mind, you are bound yourself. As long as you hold another in debt to you, you hold your own blessings in debt, unable to pay. That is why Jesus said, "Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven." Forgiveness is not sentiment. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is release, and release is power. I once knew a woman who suffered from a painful skin disease that no doctor could cure. Her finances were in ruins, her affairs tangled, her body tormented. As I listened to her, I discerned the hidden cause. She was full of resentment against a former friend who had wronged her years before. She thought of it daily, she rehearsed it, she repeated it, she nursed it like a wound she refused to let heal. And so, her subconscious was clogged with bitterness, and the bitterness expressed itself in her body and in her purse. I told her plainly, "You must forgive, you must release, you must bless her and set her free, or you will never be free yourself." At first she resisted, for her pride clung to the grievance. She said, "But she does not deserve it. She never repented, she never asked forgiveness." I answered, "It is not for her sake, but for yours. You do not forgive to excuse her, you forgive to release yourself." At last, she obeyed. She spoke the words of forgiveness. "I bless you, I release you. I forgive you fully and freely. Divine love fills my heart and dissolves all resentment." She repeated it until her heart softened, until the bitterness drained away, and when she truly released, her healing began. The disease vanished, her body grew strong, her finances shifted, new opportunities came. What no medicine and no effort could do, forgiveness accomplished. For once the clog was removed, the river flowed again. This is the law. Unforgiveness is a debt you hold against yourself. Every time you refuse to release another, you hold yourself in bondage. But when you forgive, you cancel the debt, you free the channel, you open the floodgates, and through those gates rush health, joy, and prosperity. That is why I say, forgiveness is the golden key. It unlocks the treasure house of heaven. So I ask you, whom are you still holding prisoner in your heart? Who rises before your mind with anger, with bitterness, with the sting of an old wrong? Is it a parent, a partner, a friend, a stranger? Is it an employer, a debtor, a rival? Whoever it is, know this. They are not bound, but you are. And you can be free this very moment, if you will forgive. You do not need their apology, you do not need their change, you do not need their approval. You need only release them in your heart. Say, I forgive you, I bless you, I set you free, and in doing so, I set myself free. What God has done for others, He now does for me and more. Say it until you feel the weight lift, until the chains break, until your heart is light. Let us decree together. I fully and freely forgive everyone who has ever harmed me, consciously or unconsciously. I release them, I bless them, I set them free. As I do this, I free myself. Divine love now floods my heart, clears every block, dissolves every grievance, and opens wide the channels of my prosperity. My good flows freely, my money follows me everywhere, and nothing can hold it back. Say it with sincerity, say it until you feel the peace of release. Say it until joy rises where bitterness once lay. For when forgiveness is complete, abundance is immediate. The law has no more obstruction, and the supply rushes in like a river, unblocked, unstoppable, overflowing. Now, beloved, let us turn to another enemy of your abundance, one that often wears the mask of reason, one that slips in quietly after you have spoken your decrees, one that whispers in the shadows when you least expect it. That enemy is doubt. Doubt is the thief that robs the harvest even after the seed has been sown. Doubt is the blight that withers the crop just as it begins to sprout. Doubt is the poverty of the soul, for it cancels the wealth of faith and leaves the field barren. And the most dangerous thing about doubt is that it hides in small phrases, in little sighs, in casual murmurs, in words so soft you do not even hear yourself speak them. You may say 100 affirmations, but if in one careless moment you sigh, I don't believe it will work. That one sigh cancels the 100 affirmations. For the law does not count words by number, it weighs them by power, and the most powerful vibration is always the one that rules. I have met students who told me, Florence, I have spoken affirmations every day for months, but still nothing changes. And when I listened closely, I found that though their lips said, I am rich, their hearts whispered, but maybe not. Their tone carried hesitation, their eyes carried worry, their posture carried defeat. They said the words, but they said them as if testing, as if hoping, as if waiting for proof before they believed. And the law answered not to their words, but to their doubt. For words without conviction are shells, but words spoken with certainty are seeds full of life. You must understand, doubt is not harmless. Doubt is a decree in itself. When you say, maybe it won't come, the subconscious hears, it won't come. When you say, I hope so, but I'm not sure, the subconscious hears, I'm not sure. Therefore, it is not. When you say, I've tried before, and it didn't work, the subconscious hears, it will not work now. And being a faithful servant, it obeys. That is why James wrote, Let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord, speaking of the double-minded man who wavers between faith and doubt. For the double-minded man is like a wave of the sea, tossed to and fro, never steady, never sure, never settled. And the law cannot deliver to such a man, for the channel is open one moment and closed the next. Beloved, this is why I urge you to guard certainty as the most precious treasure you possess. Do not let doubt enter your mind unchallenged. Do not let it whisper without reply. Do not let it find shelter in your heart. When the thought of doubt rises, answer it instantly with a decree. Say, Get thee behind me, for my good is certain. My word has gone forth, and it shall not return void. I am supplied now, under grace, in perfect ways. When the shadow of hesitation falls upon you, declare, I do not waver, I do not tremble, I do not doubt. I know, I trust, I see, I receive. And keep declaring until certainty returns. Think of certainty as a lamp in your hand. The light shines as long as the flame is steady. But if you let in doubt, it is like a wind that blows against the flame. Let it blow long enough, and the flame dies, leaving only darkness. But guard the flame, shield it, feed it, and it will grow into a fire that no wind can quench. That is the fire of unwavering faith, and it lights the path for money to follow you. So I ask you, have you been double-minded? Have you spoken the decree in the morning and canceled it with doubt by night? Have you affirmed riches with your lips but sighed poverty in your heart? If so, do not condemn yourself, but change it now. Cast out the doubt and replace it with certainty. Say aloud with me, I do not doubt. My decree is certain, my word is law. Money follows me everywhere. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. Nothing can stop it, nothing can delay it, nothing can cancel it, for the law cannot fail. Say it until you feel the ground of your being steady beneath you. Say it until you know that you know that you know. For once certainty is established, doubt is powerless. And when doubt is powerless, poverty is powerless. And when poverty is powerless, abundance flows without resistance, following you as faithfully as a shadow follows the body. Now, beloved, having cast out fear, having dissolved resentment, having loosed forgiveness, and having banished doubt, there may still remain before you what seem to be great walls, immovable barriers, ancient structures built of years of false belief, race thought, and appearances. They tower high in your imagination, whispering, you cannot pass, you cannot enter, you cannot receive. These walls are not of stone or brick, but they seem just as solid. They are the voices of family sayings, the grooves of old traditions, the heavy inheritance of a world that believes in lack. They are the repeated phrases of poverty, the collective belief in struggle, the constant hum of money is hard, money is scarce, money does not last. You may have smashed your own records, but still you feel the weight of the race mind pressing against you like walls on every side. And here's the truth. Those walls cannot be climbed, cannot be reasoned with, cannot be carried stone by stone. They must be smashed. They must be demolished by the trumpet blast of a bold decree. Think of the story of Jericho. The walls stood mighty and tall, impossible to breach by human strength. Yet the command was not to batter them with hammers, not to undermine them with spades, not to climb them with ladders. The command was to march, to sound the trumpet, and to shout. And when the shout came, the walls fell flat. This is the picture of divine law. Your walls of lack, your walls of delay, your walls of impossibility cannot stand against the shout of faith. When you decree with power, when you lift your voice in certainty, when you shout your command, the vibrations of truth shatter the false structures, and they crumble into dust. I once gave a student this decree: the walls of lack and delay now crumble away, and I enter my promised land under grace. She repeated it daily, not timidly, not mechanically, but with power, with rhythm, with certainty. Within a short time, every obstruction in her affairs vanished. Opportunities that had been closed opened suddenly. Money that had been delayed came swiftly. She walked into her promised land, just as the decree declared. The walls had fallen, not by effort, but by the power of the spoken word. Beloved, this is what you must learn. Do not waste your strength trying to chip away at appearances with reasoning. Do not waste your days measuring the size of your barriers, tracing their history, or describing their weight. That is useless labor, and it only makes them seem more real. Instead, lift your voice and decree their destruction. Speak with authority. The walls of lack and delay crumble away now. I enter my promised land of abundance, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it again and again until you feel the vibration of the walls trembling within you, until you see in your imagination the great structures cracking and collapsing, until you feel in your spirit the open field of freedom. So I ask you, what walls stand before you now? The wall of debt? The wall of unpaid bills? The wall of unemployment? The wall of a closed business? The wall of fear that says it cannot be done? Do not bow to them. Do not worship them. Do not describe them. Smash them, blow your trumpet, lift your decree. The law cannot resist the voice of faith. Let us shout together. The walls of lack and delay crumble away now. I enter my promised land, flowing with milk and honey, under grace and in perfect ways. Every barrier falls, every obstruction dissolves, every chain is broken, and I walk in freedom and abundance. Say it not with a whisper, but with a shout. Say it until the atmosphere around you changes. Say it until you feel yourself marching into the land of promise, the land of plenty, the land where money follows you as a faithful servant. Beloved, never forget, no wall is higher than your decree, no barrier stronger than your word, no delay longer than your faith. The spoken word is dynamite, and when charged with faith, it explodes the false structures of lack and leaves nothing but open ground for your harvest. Shout, and the walls will fall. Command, and the barriers will vanish. Decree, and you will walk into your promised land, supplied, enriched, overflowing. Now, beloved, we have torn down the walls that block the stream, and we stand before a great mystery, the secret door of abundance. Many search for it all their lives and never find it, not because it is hidden in some distant place, but because it lies within them, and they never think to look there. The door does not swing wide for grumbling. It does not open for boredom. It does not yield to dreariness or complaint. The door opens only to joy, to enthusiasm, to genuine interest in what you are doing. For interest is the magnet that draws supply. Interest is the spark that lights the fire. Interest is the key that turns the lock. Where there is no interest, there is no life. Where there is no life, there is no demonstration. But when you are alive to your own path, fascinated with your own work, thrilled by your own steps, the door opens and abundance rushes through. I remember the story of Jim Tully, a man who began his life as a tramp, wandering the roads, sleeping under hedges, living from hand to mouth. By appearances, he was a failure, a castaway, one destined to struggle forever. Yet he had one treasure that no poverty could take from him. He was deeply interested in his life. He observed it, dramatized it, told stories of it, lived it with vividness. He did not see himself as dull or defeated, but as a character in a great adventure. That interest in his own story became the key that opened the secret door. For in time, Jim Tully became a writer, celebrated and successful, his books published, his name known, his purse filled. What had changed? Not the outer first, but the inner. He had unlocked the door with the key of interest. This is the law. Whatever you are interested in grows. Whatever you give your enthusiasm to multiplies. If you despise your work, it shrivels. If you scorn your tasks, they drain you. If you go about your day sighing, what is the use? You have closed the door. But if you take an interest, even in the smallest duty, if you put heart into the little task, if you bring fascination to the humblest work, you have struck the key against the lock, and you will be amazed how swiftly it swings open. For the Spirit says, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much." Show interest in the little, and the greater will be given. So I ask you, where is your interest? Do you rise each morning alive to the day, eager to bless it, ready to see what new opportunity may open? Or do you drag yourself forth with complaints, dull, weary, dreading the hours? If you would open the secret door, you must kindle your fire again. Find something in your path that excites you, that fascinates you, that stirs your imagination. Even if it seems small, put your heart into it, for that spark will grow into a flame, and the flame will open the door. Let us decree together. I take a divine interest in my life. I am alive to every moment. I am fascinated by my work. I am thrilled by my opportunities. The secret door swings wide, and abundance pours through. Money follows me everywhere, for I am alive with joy. Speak it until the dullness leaves you. Speak it until the fire stirs again. Speak it until you look upon your path not as a burden, but as an unfolding adventure. For when you are interested, heaven is interested. And when heaven is interested, doors open that no man can shut. Beloved, never forget, the secret door is within you, and the key is interest. Be alive, be fascinated, be joyful, and the treasure will appear. Now, beloved, let us pause and consider something so simple, so everyday, that most people dismiss it as nothing, and yet it carries within it the vibration of heaven itself, the smile. A smile is not merely a movement of the lips, not a fleeting expression upon the face. A smile is a decree made visible. A smile is joy taking form. A smile is faith shining outward. When you smile, you are silently declaring to the universe, I expect good, I welcome good. I live already in the vibration of good, and the law, exact and unchanging, responds to that decree as surely as it responds to words shouted from the rooftop. The smile is your unspoken word, and it carries power. Do you not remember the old proverb? A man without a smiling face must not open a shop? The wisdom of the ages is hidden there. Why must he not open the shop? Because prosperity cannot flow to the sullen, to the gloomy, to the sour. Prosperity rushes to the radiant, to the cheerful, to the expectant. No one is drawn to the shadowed face. All are drawn to the shining one. A smile opens doors, melts resistance, attracts opportunities, and calls money to follow you as faithfully as the shadow follows the body. A smile is a magnet, and its pull is irresistible. I recall the lesson dramatized in a French film where Maurice Chevalier played the part of a poor man, dreary and defeated, sighing, "What good has my honesty done me?" Chevalier's answer was simple but profound. Even honesty will not help you without a smile. And when the man smiled, his fortune turned. Was that magic? Yes, it was the magic of the law. For the smile shifted his vibration, and his vibration shifted his affairs. The law always answers to the strongest current, and joy is the strongest current of all. Beloved, I must tell you that many of you cancel your decrees not with words, but with your countenance. You speak abundance, but you frown lack. You affirm supply, but you wear the face of worry. You command prosperity, but your eyes carry gloom. And so the world believes your face and not your words. The subconscious believes your tone and not your sentence. The universe answers not only your lips but your radiance. If your lips say, "I am rich," but your face says, "I am poor," the law answers the stronger decree, the frown. That is why you must learn to clothe your decrees with a smile, to let your very countenance be the proof of your faith. So I ask you, what face do you show the world? When you rise in the morning, do you carry the weight of yesterday upon your features? When you walk through your affairs, do you wear a look of heaviness, as though burdened with shadows? Or do you smile, radiant, expectant, declaring silently that your good is here? If you would open the secret door to abundance, you must learn to smile before the proof appears. Smile, not because of what you see, but because of what you know. Smile as the farmer smiles when he sees the green shoots in the field, knowing the harvest is certain. Smile as the child smiles on Christmas Eve, knowing the gift is already prepared. Smile as the king smiles in his palace, knowing his treasure is secure. For the smile is the silent proof of faith, and faith never fails. Let us decree together, with radiant faces, I smile upon my world, and my world smiles upon me. I radiate joy, I radiate cheer, I radiate confidence, and abundance hastens to meet me. Money follows me everywhere, for my face shines with the certainty of my supply. Speak it, then practice it. Smile when fear whispers, smile when doubt arises, smile when appearances contradict. Let your very face defy the shadow and announce the truth, and you will find that doors swing open, friends draw near, opportunities arise, and money follows, for the universe cannot resist the shining countenance of faith. Beloved, never forget, the smile is a magnet. Use it, and the secret door swings wide. Beloved, let us speak now of a treasure more precious than rubies, more powerful than weapons, more necessary to the demonstration of abundance than most ever realize, the treasure of silence. For just as a smile radiates power outward, silence gathers power inward. Just as cheer draws money to you like a magnet, silence holds the energy in place until it has formed substance. Without silence, words are scattered like seed cast upon stony ground. Without silence, decrees are weakened by chatter, explanations, and the endless rehearsal of appearances. But when you learn the law of silence, when you keep your lips from careless speech, when you refuse to scatter your force in gossip, complaint, or idle talk, you preserve the vibration of your decree, and the universe hastens to fulfill it. That is why it has been said for ages, silence is golden. I once knew a man of remarkable talent and ability who could never seem to prosper. Every business he entered failed. Every door he pushed closed against him. He came to me for counsel, and soon I discovered his hidden weakness. Each evening when he returned home, he would sit with his mother and aunt and pour out the story of his day. He would speak of every hope, every fear, every disappointment, every detail. They listened eagerly, and he thought he was easing his burden, but in truth he was scattering his energy, draining his force, repeating and re-impressing upon his subconscious the very failures he wished to erase. His tongue betrayed him. I told him plainly, If you wish to succeed, you must keep silent. Stop discussing your affairs. Stop scattering your forces. Stop voicing your doubts. Speak only the decree, and then hold your tongue. He obeyed. His mother and aunt were dismayed at the sudden quiet, but within weeks his fortunes turned. He secured a position at $100 a week, and soon it rose to $300. What years of effort could not do, silence accomplished in a short time. Beloved, this is the law. What you speak, you strengthen. If you speak your fear, you strengthen fear. If you speak your worry, you strengthen worry. If you speak your poverty, you engrave poverty deeper. That is why so many cancel their own decrees. They affirm abundance in the morning, then complain of lack by afternoon. They decree riches, then rehearse their debts to a friend. They proclaim prosperity, then explain in detail why they are still poor. The subconscious hears the second word and obeys it, for it is reinforced by emotion, by tone, by repetition. And so, the first decree is nullified. Do you see how important silence is? Once you have spoken the word of truth, you must seal it with silence, letting the seed grow in the dark soil of the subconscious until it bears fruit. Think of the farmer. He plants his seed, and then he leaves it. He does not dig it up every day to see if it grows. He does not shout his doubts into the furrow. He plants and then keeps still, knowing the law of growth will not fail. So it is with your decrees. Plant them with authority, then guard them with silence. Speak only words that add strength. Refuse to rehearse the old story. Refuse to scatter your force in chatter. Refuse to give your sacred decrees to the careless ears of doubters. Hold your tongue, and you will hold your power. So I ask you, have you been scattering your force? Have you told your troubles to every passerby, only to wonder why they persist? Have you spoken your decrees with one breath and canceled them with the next? If so, learn the golden lesson: keep silence. Guard your word as treasure. Speak only to affirm, never to complain. Share only with those who can believe with you, never with those who would sow doubt. Let us decree together: I speak only words of power. I refuse to scatter my forces in idle talk. My word is law, and once spoken, I keep silence while the law fulfills it. I am strong, I am steady, I am certain. My decree grows in silence, and abundance flows to me swiftly. Say it until you feel the weight of your words increase. Say it until silence no longer feels like emptiness, but like power. Say it until you know that your stillness is not weakness but strength. For silence is golden, and the one who learns it holds the secret key to demonstration. Beloved, remember this always. Your smile is your magnet, but your silence is your fortress. Keep both, and the secret door will swing wide. Now, beloved, we arrive at the climax of this teaching. For all that has gone before the command, the faith, the expectancy, the clearing of fear and resentment, the guarding of silence, all of it leads here, to the utterance of the living word. For the decree itself is your open sesame. The treasure is not locked against you by steel or stone. The vault of heaven is not sealed with iron bars. The doors of abundance are closed only by appearances, only by illusions, only by false thoughts that loom like rocks before you. But appearances are obedient shadows, and shadows cannot resist the light of the spoken word. Just as Ali Baba stood before the impenetrable rock and cried, "Open sesame," and the stone rolled back to reveal treasure, so do you stand before your circumstances and speak your decree, and the law must obey. It is not muscle that opens the way, not toil that parts the stone, not strain that breaks the seal, but the password of faith spoken aloud. I have watched students try every other path. They scheme, they struggle, they batter themselves against obstacles. They exhaust their strength climbing and pushing, only to remain outside the door. And then, in the moment they lift their voice in command, the barriers dissolve as if they had never been. For the law does not yield to effort but to authority. When you decree, you give the universe its instruction, and the universe hastens to obey. That is why idle affirmations, murmured without conviction, bring nothing, while a single decree spoken with power can change a life in an instant. I recall a student who was hemmed in on every side by debt, delay, and disappointment. She felt as if she stood before a high wall, stretching left and right with no door in sight. I gave her this decree: the walls of lack and delay crumble away, and I enter my promised land under grace, in perfect ways. She spoke it not once, but daily. and each time she said it, she felt the vibration of truth growing stronger. Within weeks, the walls of her affairs dissolved. The debts were paid, the delays vanished, new channels opened, and she walked in freedom. The decree had been her open sesame, and the vault of abundance swung wide. Beloved, I must impress this upon you. The decree is not begging, the decree is not hoping, the decree is not asking timidly if perhaps your good might be granted. The decree is command, the decree is authority, the decree is law. When you speak it, speak as a king giving orders, not as a beggar pleading for crumbs. Speak as one who knows that heaven itself stands behind your word. Speak as one who understands that the subconscious has no choice but to obey. Speak as one who recognizes that God himself has said, "Concerning the works of my hands, command ye me." Do you hear it? Command, not plead, not doubt, not beg, command. So I ask you, what rock stands before you today? Is it the rock of debt, the rock of delay, the rock of lack, the rock of despair? Do not waste your time chiseling at it with effort. Do not stand before it weeping. Do not sit in its shadow sighing. Lift your voice and give the password. Cry aloud. Open sesame. The walls of lack and delay crumble away now. I enter my promised land under grace, in perfect ways. Say it until you feel the rock tremble. Say it until you see in your inner vision the stone rolling back. Say it until you know that behind the barrier lies treasure already prepared for you. For the decree is the key, and the key always fits. Let us shout it together. Open sesame, my good appears now. The doors swing wide, the channels flow, the treasure is revealed. Money follows me everywhere, swiftly, surely, freely, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it with joy. Say it with certainty. Say it until you feel the vibration of heaven answer. For when you speak the decree, the universe listens, and when the universe listens, it obeys. Beloved, never forget this truth. The treasure is not locked, it only waits for the word. Speak it, and it appears. Command it, and it follows. Decree it, and it becomes flesh. The password is always in your mouth, and when you use it, no rock, no wall, no barrier can stand. Beloved, we have walked together through the great laws of abundance, and now we stand at the place where word and life must become one. You began this journey perhaps weary, perhaps chasing, perhaps begging and pleading, perhaps with lips that spoke faith while the heart still whispered fear. You began perhaps carrying the heavy weight of old words, false grooves, idle jokes, hidden resentments, unforgiveness, doubt, shadows that barred the way. But now you know better. You know that money does not lead you, you lead it. You know that money is not your master, it is your servant. You know that money does not need to be hunted down, it must follow you. You have seen the law in action. Your word is your wand. Your faith is the breath of life in that word. Your expectancy is the magnet that draws. Your timing is set by heaven's clock, and every block, fear, resentment, doubt, unforgiveness, can be shattered by decree. You have seen that the smile draws, that silence preserves, that interest unlocks, and that the decree itself is the open sesame that rolls back the rock and reveals the treasure prepared for you from the beginning. So now I tell you plainly, you are no longer a beggar running after coins. You are a king whose word is law. You are no longer one who trembles at clocks and calendars. You are one who knows God is never too late. You are no longer one who curses the good of others. You are one who blesses, and by blessing multiplies. You are no longer one who clings to grudges. You are one who forgives, and by forgiving, releases rivers of wealth. You are no longer one who doubts. You are one who knows. And because you know, because you speak, because you command, money must follow you, money must seek you, money must hasten to you swiftly, surely, under grace, in perfect ways. Let us seal this truth now with a decree that will go with you into every hour of your day and every night of your sleep. Speak it with me. Money is my obedient servant. It follows me everywhere. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. The walls of lack and delay crumble away now, and I walk in my promised land of abundance. Before Sunday, I hold my proof in my hand, for the law cannot fail, and my word has gone forth. Speak it daily, speak it hourly, speak it until it is etched into your very soul. And as you speak, rejoice, For the decree is not a wish but a law, and the law must obey. And now, before we part, I open before you the path to the next revelation. For tonight you have learned how to command money to follow you everywhere. But there is still a deeper mystery, a forgotten code, a law almost hidden, the law of calling money by its name. For money, like a faithful servant, answers when it is called, but it must be called rightly. In my next message, I will reveal to you that forgotten word, that secret call, that ancient code that makes money answer as surely as a child answers to its mother's voice. Do not miss it. For if you have learned tonight to command, you will soon learn to summon, and when you know both, you will never lack again. So click now, beloved, and continue with me to the law of calling money by its name. For your harvest is not only near, it is here, and the next key will unlock it in fullness.